Welcome to Bring Your Own Tools, and on today's episode, if you want to learn how to change your windows from this to this, keep on watching. Let's get started. Now, step one is actually removing the existing windows, and these are just your standard aluminum frame single pane glass windows that just are not that great anymore, and there's a plethora of reasons why to remove them. Number one being that they are not energy efficient. There's a reason why they do multiple panes of glass nowadays, and that's because the transfer of the temperature outside to your interior home or vice versa is drastically improved if you have multiple panes of glass with some type of argon gas in between. Now, as for removing these windows, it's quite easy to do so. I just take my circular saw and run it up against the sides of the window. With my circular saw, I have an 1.5" space between the saw blade and the side guide plate of the circular saw. That gives me a perfect space between where the actual flange of the window is, and you're easily able to knock out the miscellaneous parts of the siding with just a hammer or a chisel. Now, of course, in this circumstance, the number one thing to think about is safety. So making sure you feel comfortable with doing this type of cut is key. If you don't, there's always a plethora of different ways you can cut out the siding from the window itself. I personally have just done this numerous times, and I feel very comfortable doing so with a circular saw. Now, this is an odd space for windows, so it's hard to get the circular saw into position in some cases, so I'm using my multi-tool just to cut out some of the miscellaneous areas in which I can't get my circular saw to. This is a perfect tool to utilize if you don't want to use a circular saw in this circumstance. Now, once you get rid of all that pesky siding and it's just between you and the window, it's quite easy to remove the window. With these houses, there wasn't a lot of precaution taken on how to actually install them other than just nailing the window into position with just a handful of nails, no caulk, no tape, no nothing other than that. Now, prior to actually removing the windows, I did take measurements on the inside and outside of the window to make sure I had the proper size new window in place. I picked up these Jeld Wen windows at Home Depot, which you can obviously pick up at any specified location. And luckily for us, these were both very standardized window sizes, so they had them readily available. If they don't have them readily available at your specified location, you can always custom order them. It's just going to take a little extra time to get them there. Now, once I confirm that the new windows will fit the opening, I then start prepping the space. I grab my flashing tape, which I'll leave a link in the description box below on where to actually purchase it. It's very standard for openings for windows and doors. Now, with the corners, you want to make sure that we do some due diligence on making them waterproof, because in all honesty, this in general is going to be where your weak point is because of gravity and where water will actually intrude onto the house. You can actually get these pre-manufactured corner guards, which I was not able to get in time, so I'm just using some extra flashing in place, but those are obviously nice because they're pre-made and ready to go for you. Now, based on the manufacturer's installation requirements, you do want to install the flashing prior to installing the window, but this is just for the bottom section. All other sides are installed after you install the window. Now, this is general procedure based upon the installation instructions that I have, but they could differ from the material that you're utilizing, so just make sure you're checking prior to installing your window. After I have the bottom flashing taken care of, I place the window and tack it into place. I then measure off 3.5 inches from the window edge in order to accommodate the trim work that we're going to be installing afterwards. Now, I didn't do this with my first cut because the difference between the window that was there and the new window are slightly different, so you want to make sure you do this afterwards in order to accommodate the trim that you'll be working around. Now, no, of course, I know you're all thinking what happened with the small window. This is the other large window that we're doing the exact same procedure to, and in all honesty, I lost some of the footage on this video. Don't tell anyone. But yeah, my phone stopped recording at a certain point on the smaller window. Don't tell anyone. Shh. But luckily, I did record both windows, so there wasn't that freak out moment. Luckily, we did have footage to finish off this beautiful video. Now, once we know the space is fully prepped, ready to rock, we then proceed to applying a large, heavy bead of silicone. And yes, this is 100% silicone waterproof. You can install it when it's dry or wet. It's not paintable though, so you gotta make sure you know that ahead of time, because we're not gonna be using this when we actually silicone the exterior trim, because it's not paintable. So this is perfect for this type of application because we don't need to worry about how good it looks. We just need to make sure it's fully waterproof and watertight. Am I right, ladies? I don't know why I just said that. It's kind of creepy. Anyways, moving on. I then tack a few screws into position just to keep it in place. Grab my level just to make sure it's perfectly level and positioned exactly where I want it. I then screw the entire window off using these GRK fasteners for exterior use with a flat low profile head, which is perfect for this type of application because you don't want a big Mondo screw head since you're installing trim on top of it. I then flash both sides and the top, and the key about this is you want to make sure you're flashing the sides first and then the top, just like this, because generally gravity brings rain downwards, and so therefore if you have the top over your sides and the sides over your bottom flashing, that means that there's no way for that water, if it does get past your trim, that it doesn't get past the actual flashing itself. Now, the sponsor for this video is going to be AZEK Building Products. Now, I personally reached out to them and they got back to me very quickly and provided all of the trim work as well as the fasteners for the upcoming portion of this video. Now, we are using AZEK's Paint Pro trim series for this project. It's a very durable PVC product that's lightweight, it's easy to cut, it also has a reversible finish with a smooth side on the back as well as a wood grain side called Frontier. So it's perfect for either application, plus there's no prep needed for painting, so it's a win-win in a lot of different avenues. As you can see, I've cut the boards at a 45-degree angle to make a mitered edge connection. Now, we could install a drip edge over the top trim board just for some added waterproofing protection, but in this application we didn't because we were trying to match an existing style that was already on the house. Now, as for hardware, we are going to be incorporating AZEK's Cortex fastening system. Now, if you haven't used this before, please do yourself a favor and check out BYOT 50, in which we go into detail with how to incorporate this type of fastening system on a deck. It's the same system, just different color, and this system will give you an extremely strong, durable hold, as well as it's fully concealable because of the cap system, which is incredible. Now, for the exterior sealant, we are using DAP's Dynaflux series, which is an extremely great product, 100% waterproof, as well as it's paintable. That's the key aspect, is that it's actually fully paintable after an hour of dry time and ready to go. So just keep that in mind, and just note that I'm not the cleanest person when it comes to using sealants like this, but the nice thing about this product is that it's easily washable with just some soap and water, or just plain old water. Now, on the second window, I did smart up a bit and actually applied a couple layers of tape to the corners just to make it a bit easier to apply the sealant and reduce the amount of cleanup I had to do along the way. Now, I obviously know that the deck here puts a unique parameter on this project, but just know that if you didn't have the deck here, all you have to do is install another mitered trim board and then proceed to fastening and sealing it just the way we did the rest of the boards. And once the sealant is dry, you are ready to paint any color you so desire. I'm thinking a turquoise, right? Yeah, something different. And in the end, you don't only have one beautiful, sexy beast of a window, but you also have the added advantage of actually adding value to your own home, as well as saving some money on some heating bills. And who doesn't love that, right? And there you have it, episode number 52 of BYOT done. This is the exact type of home remodeling project that I absolutely love. One, because it actually improves the overall quality and look of your home, and two, it pays for itself in a couple years. The amount of energy that you save as far as heating or cooling of your house between single pane versus double pane windows is drastic. I've done it to my own home. Trust me, I've seen the bills. It's amazing. In any case, thank you for your time. Please like the video, please subscribe to this channel, and please check out my Instagram feed and my newly developed website at BYOTools.me. You can learn how to support the channel from there. In any case, thank you for your time, and catch you next time. But never been able to pet a chicken. Where the hell am I? Yeah. Oh, okay.